Hel- Hello, and welcome to this episode of Sister Talk Real Talk. My name is Monique, and I'm so glad that you are here and able to join me in listening in. This is, I have to say, I want to say thank you to all the listeners and to the feedback. It's great to be able to have a forum to be able to, as I said, in my intro, to be able to help to try to provide some insights and information, and to be a resource for people all over the world. So thank you for listening. I'm glad that my life experiences and the guests and insights and my training and all of those things and education have come to a point where it gives me an opportunity to hopefully make somebody else's life a little bit better, make things a little bit easier, give a different perspective and insight, and help you along in this thing called life. So this week, this is going, I know I say this each week, it's going to be a very interesting conversation, but this one, I think you're going to find to be interesting. When we talk about dating and we talk about being in a relationship, I was having a conversation with my frequent guest now, who has been on and who's on the show again today, about dating dynamics and relationship dynamics. And he brought up something really interesting. And I thought, oh, we need to talk about this with our listeners. To have a conversation around this. So I'm actually not going to introduce the topic today. I'm going to ask my guest, JC, to introduce the topic today. JC, what is it that we were talking about where I said, ooh, we have to talk about this. We have to have a dynamic. I'm not sure I even agree with all of it, but I find it kind of a fascinating conversation to have around relationship dynamics. I know it's shocking. We may not necessarily agree. What was that?
Well, thank you for having me back on the show again.
You're welcome.
Thanks everybody for putting a good vote in for me. To come back with my diverse opinions.
Yeah, I
You
wasn't too
know,
sure about having you back after a couple of them, but I'm just telling the truth. It's real talk. I was like, ooh. But that's what we want. Not everybody's going to agree. We're not always going to agree on things, but what's great about that is it gives a larger opinion. So go ahead. What
yeah.
were we talking about?
So most relationship scenarios, they are not observed as what I was talking about earlier, chosen. So the topic of this show is choose or chosen. Which one are you? Some people may use another acronym another analogy as far as giving and taking. You have one person who's a giver, one who's a taker, but it's who's been chosen and who is the chooser.
And I think it's a little bit different than the giver and the taker, because you can have two people in a relationship that are givers and two people that are takers. That usually doesn't work well. But what we were talking about, what you brought up was how, especially from a man's perspective, if he's with someone, whether he chose that woman, he decided that's the one I want, or was he chosen by her and convinced? And when I say convinced, I don't mean like she had to beg or plead, but just, was she the one that pursued him? Were you the pursuer or the pursuee? Maybe the pursuer or the pursued. Is that another way of saying it?
Well, yes. Basically, the typical scenario is that the man pursues a woman. He chooses a pretty skirt and chooses that skirt right there. Like, oh man, that girl walked past in the yellow skirt. She's cute. I'm gonna go talk to her. So he chose to talk to that woman as to a woman who goes to a diner and see a guy and say, oh, he's a cute looking guy, and goes and say, hey, let me buy you a drink, or hey, here's my number, give me a call sometime. So it's a matter of who was I would say, like, the aggressor as far as initiating the relationship.
Okay. Okay. So, um, when we talk about that and we talk about that dynamic, I'm sorry, I had a moment where I was thinking about the. I think it's an Alicia Keys song where she's the waitress. The guy comes in every week. She's like, I noticed you coming in every week, and she gives him the number. It's cute, but it's kind of an analogy as to the dynamic that happens. What you were saying to me is that it's different when a guy chooses. Now, if we're going to talk a little bit biblical, there's a Bible verse that says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. But and not a but, that's a period. In today's society, though, it's so different. You have swipe left, swipe right. You can reach out. You can, there's a whole nother people hook up over Facebook, over Instagram, over Snapchat. They connect on all different kinds of dating apps, and none of them have paid me, so I'm not going to list any of them. But there's so many different ones where there's a lot of, you know, choosing that happens that's on the female side. I think there are some dating apps actually where, regardless of whether a guy's interested, if the woman doesn't also agree, swipe right, then he can't even reach out to her, kind of thing. Versus where, there are times, there are scenarios where you hear women say, he wasn't really my type. I wouldn't have normally gone out with him, and they've been married for 20 years now, that kind of thing. So some of the power is in, kind of the women's hands a little bit more too, as far as the choosing and the selecting in some ways. The dynamic
I
has,
really hate to interrupt you, but let me be up front. This is sister talk, real talk, right?
right.
The power is in the woman's hands. All the power is in her hands. Most of the women don't even realize that they hold all the keys to the kingdom. It's just a matter of how do you, and I'm going to say this word just once. I might lose my card for this, but how do you manipulate the situation to your advantage?
Okay, wait. Okay. Keys to the kingdom. She holds the cards anyway. Let me back up just a second. How does that line up with whether she was chosen or whether he chose her or he thinks he chose her?
Right. Well, basically,
What do you
it,
mean by choose? Let's define
well,
that for
let's
our
go like
listeners.
this. Okay,
Okay.
so
Give me a scenario.
here's a scenario. A guy walks up to a girl, says she's cute, strikes up a conversation, asks her out on a date.
Mm-hmm.
She says, "Okay, I'll let you take me out."
Mm-hmm.
They go on a couple dates, and he tells her, "I like you." They go on more dates, and next thing you know, it's about 6 months in, and he says, "I choose you." He may be the first one to drop the L bomb.
Okay.
If you don't know what the L bomb is, the word love, he may be the first to admit that he
Why's it
loves
gotta
her.
be a bomb?
For guys, this is war, okay? Down to the war paint, what you call makeup, this is a war. It's a war of the heart, okay?
Okay.
So,
Is he gonna drop the bomb and just take her out with the L bomb?
he drops the L bomb. That means he's choosing her
Is it a
because
nuke?
yeah, there's a lot of fallout afterwards. So, basically, he chose her. He
Right.
wants to be with her more than anything. So, that's the power that she has in that scenario. A different scenario,
Okay, wait. Can
yes.
I interrupt you
Sure.
here on this?
Sure,
It's my
interject.
turn. Thank you. Is he chose her? It's not just, oh yeah, I want to be with her. It's, I want to be with her more than anyone or anything else.
Hmm.
Which is a different scenario than, yeah, I'll hang with her for a while. Right?
Yeah,
We're just kicking it.
yeah, we're not. No, it's like, you know what? That's the one that you've fallen in love with. So when a
Okay.
man chooses a woman, it's totally different. It's like that woman is the most special person in the world to him. That's when a man falls in love with you, he chooses you. Now, it's safe to say that some men may be married to their wife, but didn't choose them yet.
Okay. Um, this is interesting. This goes to one of the books I'm getting ready to publish, where I talk to women about kind of this male emotional ladder of where you sit. Are you the hookup? Are you the girlfriend? Are you kind of, the living girl, or are you the wife? And sometimes there are times when you become the wife by default, not because he really chose you, but because he's waited so long and nothing better has come along, so he might as well be with you, versus the fact that he chose you. I saw a show the other day, and a guy was talking about a woman, and it was actually a real couple that they was talking about a woman that he married and how much he loved her. And he was saying, I have a purpose now. I have a purpose. I have a purpose for living. Not that he didn't have a job, he was an executive and all of these other things. But is it true that that choice is like he sees that woman as she's my purpose. She's my passion. She's that person that gives me the insight or the ability, the drive to be able to go out here and fight out in this world and do what I have to do because I have her to come
Well,
back home to.
yes. See, if you're a woman and you have been chosen by that particular man, then your relationship dynamic is, well, one, you're winning. Okay, you're winning. All right, and it's a good thing to be chosen. That means that you have you've just appealed to that man in such a way that he is going to go out of his way to be with you. Whether it's the way you walk, the way you smile, your attitude, the aura. God spoke to him. It's just
The clouds
you've done
parted.
you've done something. It's something about you that he's noticed that he needs in his life. He can't live without you. You're the one he cannot live without.
Okay, that's the chosen part. Thank you.
Yes.
Now, ladies, I'm going to interject here and say something. And JC, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said they've done something, but it's more like it's who they are, right? It's who the woman is as a person. Not what she does as much as who she is. The essence of who she is it more that?
Well, it can be anything. It can be her character. It can just be like the way she walks, or just the person that she is, her
Right.
personality. It's something about that woman that
Does it
the
for him.
man is so overtaken by that thing, that it factor,
Okay.
that French je ne quoi, whatever that, it's that thing.
Je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi. I'm not French. French fry. Here you go. French dip. Anyway,
So
French
so
twist.
so
But
ladies so ladies listen to this, and this is important, and this goes back to the core of what I say. You got to love yourself. You can tell me, but I think tell me, I'll say this and tell me if this is wrong, Jesse, but there's nothing sexier than a woman who is in tune with who she is, who loves herself, who is walking and found her own. She's not the wounded walking, she's walking in her wholeness. Now I know, you have men that are in different emotional spectrums and things like that, but ladies, when you love yourself, when you're at a point where you're taking care of you and you're loving yourself and who you are, and you're in a place of wholeness and confidence, isn't that sexy too?
you see, some men like that woman that they don't have to put too much work in. She's got her own. She's living life without the man, so he can see himself as an add-on, not as a support brace.
As an asset, not a rescuer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that as well. It's
Right.
like, you know what? With her, we can build. Not with her, I'm gonna have to build her.
Before I can even get to building us.
Right.
Okay.
So that's when the one most men will choose the woman that can help build an empire with, not a woman that needs help building herself.
If that man is about something, if that man is about building, if that man is about growing,
Right.
if he has a passion, then
Now,
that's what he's looking for.
listen, what you just said. If
If.
that man, not if that male,
Mm.
if that man, keyword man, a real man, not a grown boy, will choose a woman who is right for him, that missing piece to his puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
As in, that woman may choose that man who's a missing piece to her puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Shady Hawkins. You know what I'm saying? Women asking men to dance at a party.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's that, and that's that confident woman.
Okay. So I interrupted you a few minutes ago when you talked about one side of the coin, which is he chooses her. I think you were going is you were getting ready to go into the other side. You said this is what it looks like with this, and I wanted to get more clarification. What's the other side look like when he doesn't choose her?
So when a man doesn't choose a woman, okay, that doesn't mean their relationship. There's no relationship.
Right, but she chose him. She's
You
the pursuer.
you could be in a relationship with a man who didn't choose you.
Right.
Okay, which means
What does
that
that look
he's
like?
like he's dating you, y'all kicking it, y'all friends, y'all could even have a relationship with y'all boyfriend and girlfriend, y'all could even be married, and it just so happens that you're the only woman. You were not his first choice. You were in the second choice, but you happen to be the remaining choice. You
Ooh, the
settled.
default.
You're
The
like, you know what? We've been talking for so long. I'm all we've been dating for like the last 7 years. She been nagging me about a ring. I might as well just go ahead and marry her. We done got kids together. Let me just go ahead and marry her and get the kids my last name.
Now listen, real talk. Real talk. Ladies, you've heard this from us, you've heard this from other women, but I want you to hear this from a man, and I other men have confirmed this. Men, you say this a lot, JC, that it's a war zone out there. You
Yes,
guys are about achieving, about conquering, about accomplishing,
and winning.
and winning. Ladies, let me say this to you, and I love you. I love my sisters out there. You should not have to nag your man about marrying you. Is that correct?
Correct, because if a man chooses you, he's gonna push the issue.
He's going to put a ring on it.
Oh, he's gonna do whatever it takes to get that ring.
Okay. Now, listen, there are women that are waiting. It's been 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You don't know what his intention. You're waiting. I can tell you this from my own personal experience, and I know what it's like to be in a relationship where I'm chosen. It's different. It shows up differently. You have the way that a man treats you, the way that he deals with you, the access that you have to him, the openness that's there. It is something that's almost dumbfounding. You're going to sit back going, wow, I didn't even know that this existed. The way it shows up, at least from a woman's perspective, is that the caring, the concern, the openness, those things are there, and the access that you have to him as well.
Well, most of you women, you've heard the myth, the stories. You might call that guy the unicorn. That guy doesn't exist. The guy that takes care of me and pays my bills and cooks my meals. Oh, that I've never had a guy like that. It's because you've never had a man that chose you.
So I can tell you, my man and he has changed my world and my dynamic of what I understand about how men love it. It's interesting because he has said something along that line of he's like, I want you. I wanted you. I've been looking for you. What he said to me is, I was looking for you. My life, I've been looking not for a woman like you, but I've been looking for you. And having that and knowing that the way that he shows me and the way that he exhibits that every day is different than when I've been in a relationship with guys where they may have been the one that contacted me, on whatever dating app, or reached out to me, met me somewhere at some social event or something, and started asking me out. It doesn't mean a man choosing you doesn't mean he wasn't the one that initiated the contact. But JC, at some point, doesn't this man make an assessment, an evaluation as to what kind of role this woman could or could not play in his life? And at that point, that choice will exhibit in either he passionately pursues you or he hangs with you
Well, like I said
or it's
earlier,
over.
it's basically it's the I can't live without you. When that moment when you realize, you know what? I truly love this woman and I want her in my life and I'm not gonna let her go. I'm gonna make sure I don't mess this up.
So the way that looks is you don't have to call him and try to figure out where he is and call him 5 times for one return phone call. You don't have to say, oh, he was calling me every day and now I only hear from him every couple of days. That doesn't happen when the man chooses you.
No.
Because again, it's about conquering and winning. And you found what you want. You're not going to let that go because, hey, you're not going to let somebody else sneak in and steal your prize.
The guy that chooses a woman is not the guy that's going to play games. He's done playing games if he ever has to play games. He's not the scorned guy that's been through a bunch of relationships, because when you are, I'm gonna say, lucky enough to find that missing piece, most men know what they really want in life. They really know what they want in a woman. And it's like, the movie The Great White Buffalo, the term The Great White Buffalo, you had the one that got away. That's normally that one. When you choose one and if you let her get away, you make that mistake. Like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, I got the opportunity and I let her get away. I really messed up. And if she gives me a chance, I'm going to choose her and I'm going to show her that she's been chosen.
Now, you said something that I would love for you to repeat. You said, the man that chooses you, the one, he's not going to play any games.
No. And most husbands that are married, like I said, they may not have yet even chosen their wives.
Okay, now talk about that. You've said that a couple of times. How does a man end up going down the path, being with a woman, dating, relationship, engaged, fiancés, and all this other stuff, going down, walks down the aisle, gets married, is the husband, got 2 kids, 2.5 kids, a dog, a house, a car, apartment, or whatever. How does he get to the point of being a husband, but he didn't choose her?
Because,
Explain that to me.
okay, when you choose a woman and you show her kindness and compassion, it's done effortlessly. You don't have to try. You genuinely want what's best for her. So
But why does he get married to this woman then?
if you didn't choose a woman, but you become familiar and routine,
And comfortable.
you're like, you know what? Look, my life ain't gonna get no better. I ain't gonna find nobody that's gonna take me. I like her. You know, you lie to yourself and say, yeah, I love this woman, but I'm not saying you lying about loving her, but you didn't choose her, because if you choose her, then this is an ongoing everyday thing. You cannot live your life without her.
Now, that doesn't mean that everything's going to be perfect and that, there's going to be roses all the time and birds are going to be chirping and everything's perfect and it's not going to be some perfect TV couple. It doesn't mean that there won't be bumps or challenges.
Right.
But what you're saying it means is that he is passionately pursuing her.
He's going to be emphatically showing her his love for her.
And what does that look like? I know different men do it different way, but
I mean,
what is he trying to make the woman, how is he trying to make her feel?
basically, when a man messes up
Yes.
and he has to earn his way back into a woman's heart,
Yes.
the effort he puts into it. When you choose a woman, she gets that effort every day.
And the last thing you want is her upset.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the
My
hard
man
work you
hates
put
it.
in to earn, like, I messed up, I'm sorry, please accept my apology. That hard work you put in, that's every day, and it's not hard work. It's just everyday life for you. You genuinely want better for her.
So what about the men? Oh, wow, there's so much to this. You see men that choose women that are just horrible for them. You know some people, I know some people that have chosen women that don't build them up. They're a detriment to them.
But because that's what they want. That's the woman that, you know what, she may be taking me to the cleanest, but that's what I want in my life. I want to wake up every day next to that woman. I want to have the right to kiss her and hold her hand. That's what I want. I need that in my life.
Now, is some of that, we're getting into a whole nother topic. Is some of that because of and women do the same thing. We do the same thing. We end up with men that are bad for us, that we know we don't even feel chosen. We don't feel special. We know we're not. Keep it real. Real talk, ladies. We know we're not special. We really know we're not special, but we fight because it's like, okay, I can make it work with
Well,
this
listen,
one.
when a man chooses a woman, that man will never break your heart. That man will not hurt you because he's made a
Well,
choice in
you
his
can't
life to
say
be
you
with that woman.
people you love are going to hurt you inadvertently. Things are going to happen where you're
Well, he's
hurt.
not gonna cheat on her. That man that chooses that woman, that's it. It's like you found your reason why you exist. It's because
Your
of that
purpose.
woman. It's like, God put me on this, and it's rare that men will admit that. But if you find a man that chooses you, do not break that guy's heart because he's going to live and breathe just for your smile. That's not the guy you want to cross. That's not the guy you want to cheat on.
What if he doesn't show up as the typical kind of guy that you were looking for, that you're typically attracted to?
Then you can let him down easily from the beginning. Don't lead him on. Yeah, because most
Don't
men,
play games.
men, we don't like it, but we're used to being rejected about 100 times a day. That's just how we're built. We're built for tough. We're surface tough. So we get rejected every day from missing the elevator to missing a light at the traffic stop.
And you guys see that as rejection?
Oh, yes.
The light rejected you?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a light.
Yeah, traffic light.
It was just on an automated timer. Doesn't know
You
you
thought you was
personally.
about to try to beat it and I turned red on you. Dang, I got rejected by. That's how men see things sometimes.
It's everything's win or lose.
Thank you.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Everything's win or lose.
Yes.
Y'all way more competitive. Yeah, yeah.
We have to. We're men.
That's
We
just how
have
you're
to.
built.
Exactly.
Okay. So, real talk to the ladies for a moment. You know what? No, wait. I'm gonna flip the script a little bit. I'm gonna say real talk to my male listeners. Male listeners, real talk. If you are with a woman and you didn't choose her, and you know what I mean, because you guys really know what we're talking about because this is male code kind of secret sauce kind of talk. If you're with a woman and you know that she loves you, she's into you, you're her world, but she's not yours, tell her. Break it
No,
off.
they're not telling. They're gonna listen. They're gonna ride that out
No,
because
you know what
they're
ends up
gonna ride
happening?
that out. They're not gonna
What?
give that up.
Because you know what happens? You know what happens? You end up with these women that have been brokenhearted, cold, and bitter. And then when the right guy that comes along, the
No,
right one that comes along that actually does choose her and she is his world, she's so broken and jacked up and messed up from being dragged along from other men that she poured her heart and soul into, that they knew good and well they didn't choose him, that she's so messed up it's hard for her to accept that good man.
and you know what?
What?
I'm gonna be real with you as I've ever been.
What's that?
Because it doesn't matter how broken the woman is. When the man chooses her, he's got the glue and duct tape. He's going to put her back together, take his time and be patient.
Wait.
He is going to heal her and make her stronger than ever. That's when you choose. That's when you choose a woman. When you choose a woman, you're going to take her as she is and make her better.
Okay, wait a minute. So all the excuses, all the things where guys are like, oh, she was too this, or she was that, or she was crazy, blah, blah, blah. All of that just means he didn't really want her.
Well, he realized something about her and he just didn't choose her.
Right. He didn't want her.
You didn't make the cut.
But you're saying
You ain't make the team.
that when a man gets to a point where he chooses a woman and he chooses to be with her, she's a little battle worn and tattered,
Scorned, broken, angry.
has trust issues.
It doesn't make. This is that dream guy that
Flips
every
out
girl
on him.
wants. That's that guy that stayed there. He's like, no matter what you do, he's gonna be there. He's that guy that, you know what? I don't care what happens. I'm gonna be with you. You're not getting rid of me that easy. I'm the best thing for you.
How many of your male friends do you know have found that?
Quite a few of those that are still married today, been married for over 10, 15, 20 years. They have chosen their woman.
And they've had their ups, their downs, their
Yep.
challenges in their relationships. Now, what if a woman's in a relationship and she's sitting there listening to this and she's going, oh man, this man hasn't chosen me. He doesn't treat me like that. Ladies, let's real talk. You know when you're cherished. You know when you're adored. And maybe you haven't experienced that yet, but let me put it this way. You know when you're not. You know when you're scared. You know when you don't feel emotionally safe with the man, but you keep pushing, but he's fine, but he's this, but he talks that, and you have all this other
You
stuff.
women settle.
Don't settle. You're hearing this from a man. He's just said, you women settle. Would you please tell them not to settle?
Oh, and you're gonna have me hated by men across America.
But you know
But
what?
the truth is, I'm saying, well, ladies, you hold all the power. Trying to make a man choose you, whew, I'm just saying, I'm not sure if that's possible, but
So we can
don't.
push the issue. We can get them attached
But
to
most
us.
women don't want to take that chance. It's a gamble because they don't want to wait. They're impatient. I don't want to be single my whole life. You won't be single. Highly value yourself, and
Yes.
a stronger man will see that trait. But if you don't value yourself and you keep thinking that the right man's never gonna come along because you don't even love yourself, how you expect another man to love you or want to choose to be with you? Men don't like losers. We like winners, strong women, women who are comfortable in their own skin, who love themselves, who have a smile in their heart. That's the woman that we want to choose. A woman that's going. I have to choose a woman that's going to make me better. I can't choose a woman that's going to make me less.
Mm. And women, we should also be the same. We should choose men or be chosen by men. We should choose in the relationship that we refuse to settle for less than the man that also makes us better.
Because if you choose a man, that's which we haven't even gotten to that subject yet. But if you choose a man in time, he sees that after a while as a real man. It's gonna be like, look, I'm not gonna have my woman doing all this, even though she chose me. She wants to be with me. I want to be with her. It's because she wants to be with me, and then he'll choose you. You choose each other.
Hmm. That sounds like a perfect segue into a part two to continue the conversation. Okay. All right. Ladies, men, what say you? Did you choose? Were you chosen? Did you even know that this was part of the whole relationship paradigm? That it makes a difference on the dynamics of the relationship? That women, ladies, did you know it really shouldn't be that hard? That you really don't have to fight that hard? You don't have to call and text and nag and do all this other stuff? That the man that chooses you, you don't have to wonder where he is at night. The man that chooses you, you don't have to continually try to figure out what his intentions are because he's going to make them clear. He's going to let you know, I choose you. I want you. And he's going to passionately pursue you. Let me know what you say. Hit me up on Facebook, Sister Talk Real Talk. Tweet me at Sister Talk for Real. You'll hear all that at the end of the show on the outro as well. I want to know what you have to say about this. Go ahead and I'm going to end up having a show called Talk Back where I'm going to get your feedback and we're going to find a way. Either we're going to go live and have you guys call in so that we can get some additional conversations from the audience coming in. Thanks for listening and think about this. Did you choose or were you chosen? Until next time, keep it real. Thank you for listening to Sister Talk Real Talk. I hope that today's show has informed, enlightened, encouraged, or challenged you. We're always on doing this thing called life with you throughout the week. You can catch us on Facebook and on Instagram at Sister Talk Real Talk and on Twitter at Sister Talk for Real. That's Sister Talk, the number 4, real. Let's continue the conversation throughout the week. You can catch all of our shows on our blog at sistertalkrealtalk.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Until then, keep it real.